Hello once again. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry about that. I had to close the door because there was entering a lot of noise from the outside. So on this video, I want to talk about some things, especially a response to NoFuckers, a popular YouTuber from Russia. Um, I want to say why I am against. Well, I'm not pretty much in fourth of Ukraine. I don't support Ukraine. I don't support either Russia. Um, why don't I support Ukraine? Even though apparently we are told that they are the victims and that they pretty much didn't ask for an invasion from Russia. Um, if you check some sources, you will see in Google, you check, for example, this war in Ukraine could be avoided, and there's a lot of sources from actually scholars about politics that they say this war eventually could have stopped. um, Pretty much this war could be not um, not created in what is happening now, could be avoided. That's the word I was looking for. I'm sorry. So yes, this war could be avoided. What happened? um, Apparently the US did not care about this war eventually breaking out. Neither NATO cared. Eventually, they wanted this war to happen so they could sell weapons to Ukraine, they could sell weapons uh, between each other, and also finally create a conflict with Russia, since Russia was giving them a hard time politically speaking. Um, and it's not like a good versus evil, Russia being the evil guy and Ukraine being the good guy. It's not like that. It's much more complicated. Um, if you do some research, you will find a lot of political inquiries in the subject. None of them actually are innocent at all. Russia ain't innocent, and NoFuckers has a good point. The Russian government is tyrannical. Sure, we accept that. That's true. Um, However, the Ukraine government also is playing the victim card. Eventually, they wanted this war to happen, and they are sending their uh, young people, some old people that also are going to fight against Russia to die. And also, Putin is obligating them, and some, of course, are brainwashed with Russian propaganda that they go to war and die there. If you look at some footage about the wars, photos, images, it's a bunch of dead bodies from both sides. Um, and pretty much they are dying for nothing. Russia is sending their men to die because they want to um, take that territory back. Because, of course, the US and NATO wanted this to happen. They wanted this war to break out. Excuse me for a moment. I have the radio right now, and there you go. So yes, Ukraine as well wanted this war to happen because, of course, they're being supplied with weapons, supplied with money. The real victims of this war is the Ukrainian people. Now, you may tell me, well, don't you feel anything about the Ukrainian people being always on the run? And it's gonna sound very hardcore or unsensitive, but actually, no. Why? Because I'm not in that situation. And even though if I was in that situation, do you think anyone in the world will care? Just ask yourself that question. At the moment as we speak, not just in Ukraine, but in many places of the world, people are suffering from injustice. People are being R word, if you know what I mean by the R word. People are being massacred. And of course, no one bats an eye on that because we are all busy with our individual lives, or sometimes we're busy at our personal problems. It's just like that. We don't mind, we don't care about what's happening in the outside world. We pretty much care what's happening to us personally, into our environment. We don't care about what's happening in Ukraine. Who told you that? No one in the world is worried about something happening thousands of miles away from him. No one cares. That's a fact. We are humans, we are like that. We are egocentrical. We seek our personal survival. We don't care about the survival of others, of strangers. That's a fact. You can check it out as well. But yes, I don't support the Ukrainian government, and for no fuckers saying, oh well, if you do not support Ukraine, that means you're mentally ill. Like that stupid comment you said, no fuckers. Uh, this is not a attack on you. That this is an attack on that stupid comment you said. I don't support the Ukrainian government because it's none of my business. And of course, I couldn't give a damn of what's happening in Ukraine. Sure, you may argue what's happening in Ukraine affects you as well because the gasoline prices go up. Maybe the products like bread and whatever go up. But sure. However, also, don't you think that other countries can pretty much produce their own food and lower the prices? They can do that. They can also buy the oil from other places. They can do that. It's not really like a big deal. Um, but yeah, I don't support the Ukrainian government. I don't support the situation in Ukraine. I don't support either Russia as well. Then you may argue, then what are you? Are you a anarchist? No, not really. I have an idea of a type of government, but it is not democracy. It is not republic. It's more like the ideal government for me is pretty much like philosopher kings, like the republic from Plato. Let's say so, something like that. It's not exactly as Plato said, but something like that. That will be into another video. I will talk about that. But yeah, I do not support these two governments. Also, there's another thing I want to talk about you, no fuckers. You said that there's no way the U.S. government is as bad as the Russian government. Well, I'm afraid to tell you that they're quite almost equally the same as evil, if not the same. Or, sure, maybe a little bit less, maybe like this, a little bit less, you know, almost hidden, almost being equally evil. Because even though here in the US we don't have strict rules about what we can talk about, they can censor you. They can shadow ban you, and that's a proven fact that has happened. There's shadow bans, there's censure. Um, it is a fact. It's what happens when you talk about the US government. Also, if you check about the U.S. Government doing war crimes, and not just war crimes, but also crimes against its own citizens from the U.S. Also, um, the corruption between companies and politicians, allowing products, cancerous products, being sold in our markets, in our stores, producing a lot of illness. So pharmaceuticals can get some cut from that illness that people have. Let's say, for example, the thing in Ohio that happened. And I think recently I saw an article about in Missouri or Mississippi, I don't know, another derailment full of chemicals or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but something like that. Um, it also happened. The US government really doesn't care about its people. The more dumb their people are, they're the happier. Because if you control millions of people, you give them junk food, you give them junk entertainment, you give them propaganda in sort of way, because also there's US propaganda. You have them dominated, because the government is composed by very few people actually. And if the people revolt, if the people don't think this government helps them, they can overthrow it with ease. Because even the soldiers and the cops can think for themselves. And if they say, well, it's true, this government is led by young people, by young politicians, guess what happens? The police and the army will not help them, they will help the people. There's of course gonna be some soldiers still wanting to protect the politicians, but again, very few people. But yeah, it is equally as evil, if not equally evil. You can do some research about that. You argue about a lot of doing research about seeking sources. You can do that in Google right now. It's that easy. But yeah, that is my reply, my message to no fuckers. Again, this is not a attack on you. This is a attack on your opinion about your commentary that you said that people that don't support Ukraine are dumb or are mentally ill. Like, no, we're not. We just don't care because it's not our problem. And some of us are pretty much well informed that all forms of government are shit, so don't deserve our support. They deserve to go to the Vogue, go to the bye bye. That's what they deserve. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and see you guys later.